Do radical Islamic groups have an end times eschatology? How might their view compare with a biblical eschatology? The Joshua Fund founder and chairman, Joel C. Rosenberg, reveals the startling similarities and stark differences between the two.
Now, I think it's important for us as Christians to understand who our enemy is, both as Israelis and as Americans. You know, unfortunately, that this is not just an issue of ISIS being something that's way over in the Middle East in my neighborhood. My wife and kids and I, we live about 3 hours from the front. 3 hours from our little house that we're renting is the ISIS genocide front inside Syria. Okay? So people in the past, maybe they would say, Americans were like, oh, okay, that's your part of the neighborhood, but but you saw what happened in San Bernardino. You saw what happened in Philadelphia. You've seen what's happened in Paris. You know they are coming for us. We have to understand the enemy. You cannot defeat an enemy that you refuse to define. Fortunately, some of our national leaders are unwilling. I don't think they're unable, but they are unwilling to define radical Islam. But radical Islam, as important as it is, isn't the biggest threat that we face. Radical Islam is Al-Qaeda, it's Hamas, it's Muslim Brotherhood, it's the Taliban. And again, as I say, the goal of radical Islam is to attack us, to get us to leave the Middle East. But apocalyptic Islam is far worse. They're trying to annihilate us. Why? Because they're driven by ancient Islamic prophecies. Some of the elements of Islamic apocalyptic eschatology is very similar to our own. Okay? I've had interviewers say to me, Joel, don't you believe that ancient prophecy tells us that what are the signs of the last days? Yes, I believe that. Well, don't, the radicals and the apocalyptic Muslims, don't they believe that? Yes, they do. Well, don't you believe that we're living in the end days because of the signs of what's happening? Yes, I do. Well, don't they? Yes, they do. Well, don't you believe the Messiah is coming? Yes, I do. Well, don't they? Yes, they do. Well, don't they believe the Messiah is coming to establish a global caliphate, or at least a kingdom? Well, yes, not a caliphate, but yes, I believe he's coming to bring a kingdom. Well, don't they? Yes, they do. Well, don't you believe you're supposed to live differently in light of all that? Yes, I do. Well, don't they? Yes, I do. Well, see, you're all a bunch of nuts. You're all a bunch of lunatics. See, that's why, I said, no, there's a difference. The difference is I'm not trying to kill anyone. I'm not trying to wipe Israel off the map. I'm not trying to annihilate the United States. I'm not interested in genocide. That's a difference. There are others, and today I want to talk about the difference between biblical eschatology and apocalyptic Islamic eschatology. But that's the core difference, and that's important. So let's go to Daniel chapter 7, for example, and look at, Jews have an eschatology and Christians have one. And so having an eschatology isn't wrong by nature, but having a violent or genocidal eschatology, that is a problem, right? Okay, Daniel chapter 7, beginning in verse 13. This is the Hebrew prophet Daniel writing. I kept looking in the night visions, and behold, with the clouds of heaven, one like a son of man was coming. And he came up to the Ancient of Days and was presented before him. And to him, this Son of Man, was given dominion, glory, and a kingdom, that all the peoples, nations, and men of every language might serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which will not pass away. And his kingdom is one which will not be destroyed.
Subscribe to our videos by clicking the subscribe button. You'll find some videos that we've chosen specifically for you. And if this is a ministry that you'd like to support financially, just make a tax-deductible donation by clicking here to visit our giving page. Thank you. We look forward to partnering with you to bless Israel and her neighbors in the name of Jesus.